let me ask you something. Why do you sit around and wait for fate? I mean, what if fate is actually waiting for you to act? Today, we're going to dive into the story of a guy who didn't just wait for fate. He grabbed it, he broke it, and he remade it into exactly what he wanted.
Let's just start with a number, 4,030. That's how many pull-ups one man did in just 17 hours. He actually set a Guinness World Record. And believe me, the story of that man, David Goggins, it might just completely shatter how you see your own limits.
So who is this guy behind these insane, almost unbelievable numbers? People call him the toughest man alive, but honestly, he's more than that. He is living, breathing proof of how a ferocious will can literally transform someone from absolutely nothing into a legend.
I mean, just look at his resume. It is staggering. He's the only member of the U.S. Armed Forces ever to complete SEAL training, Army Ranger School, and Air Force Tactical Air Controller training. He's also an elite ultra-marathon runner. But here's the most important thing to get. He was not born a super athlete, not even close. When he started, he was not prepared for any of this.
So how does someone achieve all that? Well, to really understand his success, we have to go back to where he started. And it wasn't a place of strength, I can tell you that. It was a life that was just defined by immense hardship.
So when he decided to change his life, David Goggins weighed 136 kilograms. That's just under 300 pounds. That was the physical mountain he had to climb before his journey could even really begin.
But you know, the physical challenge? That was only half the story. He also had a really profound learning disability. He struggled to read, and he couldn't write properly at all.
Yeah, in his own words, writing just wouldn't happen for him. Now think about that. The very same man who couldn't form sentences on paper would later go on to write Can't Hurt Me, which is one of the most popular motivational books of our time. Just incredible.
So the big turning point, it came when he was 24 years old. He's sitting there, sees a documentary about the Navy SEALs, and decides right then and there, that's what he's gonna do. So he walks into the recruitment office, and they basically told him he was way too overweight to even be considered.
So at that moment, he faced a really clear choice. Path 1, just accept it. Live a simple life, be a victim of his circumstances. Or Path 2, fight. Conquer his fears, change himself completely, and go after everything he wanted. He chose to fight.
Now, his transformation, it wasn't some quick, feel-good motivational montage you see in the movies. No, it was a descent into unimaginable pain. And it all started with just trying to lose the weight. His first attempt at a run lasted maybe 100 meters before he just collapsed, completely exhausted. Day after day, he failed. But there was this inner voice that kept telling him, you have to continue. And so he kept getting up. And in just 3 months of this grueling routine, he lost over 45 kilograms. That's more than 100 pounds, just to get his foot in the door to qualify for the training.
And that was just to get to the starting line. SEAL training itself is designed to be a living hell. Its whole purpose is to push the strongest candidates right to their breaking point. But for Goggins, it was even harder. Get this, his bones were so dense that he struggled to swim. He would just sink. It was yet another obstacle that he simply refused to be beaten by.
But through all this fire, all this pain, he forged something that was way more valuable than a decorated military career. He forged a new mind. He realized that every single battle, the running, the swimming, the studying, it's all a mind game.
And this brings us right to the core of his whole philosophy. How can you trick your own mind, which is both your greatest enemy and your greatest ally, to overcome any obstacle life decides to throw at you?
So, he developed a method, and it starts with accepting your weaknesses, being brutally, painfully honest with yourself about where you fall short. Then you have to take absolute 100% responsibility for your life. No blaming, no waiting around for someone to save you. Next, you have to actively choose the difficult path, because that is the only place real growth happens. And finally, you have to stop making excuses. Just realize that most of your limitations are just stories that you tell yourself.
He even developed a technique for this. He calls it the accountability mirror. What he'd do is write all his goals, his insecurities, his failures, everything on sticky notes and plaster them all over his mirror. That way, he had to confront them face to face every single day. He actually discovered that the only way he could truly understand things was by writing them down, turning his greatest weakness into his ultimate strength.
You know, this all really boils down to what he calls the 40% rule. And it's this belief that when your mind is screaming at you to stop, when you feel like you have absolutely nothing left in the tank, you've actually only used about 40% of your true capability. There is always more.
Okay, so we've seen his journey, right? We've explored his mindset, but now let's talk about the most important part, how you can apply these lessons to your own life.
Here is the fundamental truth that Goggins lives by. It's simple, but it's powerful. We become weaker when we seek comfort. We become stronger when we embrace hardship. Your body and your mind, they're designed to adapt. The only question is, what are you demanding of them?
It starts with taking control. Stop the endless escape into your phone and learn to just be alone with your own mind. Identify that one habit, that one excuse that's holding you back, and decide to confront it. Stop waiting for the perfect moment tomorrow and start preparing yourself today for whatever challenges might come your way. And that brings us right back to where we started. If you're sitting there waiting for fate to deal you a better hand, maybe it's time to ask a different question. Who is your fate depending on? Because as David Goggins proves, the answer is you.